Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. So, our first story about a good trick our OP pulled to get a pay raise. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. You're hired. Years ago, I had a thankless labor/service job with a pretty unappreciative boss. Got lots of stories. One morning, I roll into the office about 7:25 and get a dirty look from the boss as I head to the dispatcher's office to collect my day's work. Supposed to be there for 7:15. I'd actually been working until about 1:30, 18-hour day the night before, and was thinking that only being 10 minutes late wasn't bad. When I got my stack of papers for the day, I let out one of those low groans and said, "You've got to be S-ing me." It was going to be another long day. Boss takes that as his chance to call me out in front of the rest of the office. "Hey, if you're going to show up late and then complain about work, we don't need you around here. You're fired." Don't know if he thought I would apologize for coming in late and ask to not be fired, but I knew that I could have a new, equally crappy job before the end of the day. So I called his bluff, handed over my clipboard, and walked away. He must have looked through my work for the day and realized that he didn't have anyone that could do what I do, and with a labor market crunch, he just didn't have anybody. On my way out to my car, I stopped and started chatting with my buddy and the dispatcher having a smoke. Boss comes out and tells me to meet him in his office so we can discuss my attitude. I said, "I'm not going to your office. I just got fired." My buddy and the dispatcher shocked. Buddy says, "You know, he pulled 18 hours yesterday and 15 the day before that," dispatch says. "Why did you fire him? You've got no one to do his run today." Boss is taken a little aback and says, "I didn't say you're fired. I said you're hired. So here's your route for the day." I say, "Well, if I just got hired, then we should talk about my starting wage." And that's how I got a $2 an hour raise. And our next story. Figure it out. And don't come back till you do. Okay, buddy, if that's what you want. Okay, this story is set 19 years ago. I remember the exact time frame because I was working at this place when the September 11th attacks happened. This place was the office of an interior designer in big city I lived in. I'd been looking for tech work, and an acquaintance had recently been hired on as an office manager, so she brought me on. I was happy to land a job providing tech support and to be earning a decent hourly wage with flexible hours. But little did I know how bizarre this place was. How bizarre, you ask? Well, my acquaintance, the new office manager, was never in the office. The designer, let's call him Boss, was also rarely there. Let me tell you a little about Boss. He was an older guy, 60s easily, which was ancient to my 22-year-old self. He constantly ground his teeth and clenched his jaw. He always seemed distracted and had a general vibe of just being weird. So I get this new gig and pretty immediately find myself alone in a nice big office space with no onboarding, no training, and nothing to do. Literally come to work, surf the web for hours, go home, or go to class. Every now and then, Boss would randomly come in, ask me to do something vaguely tech-related, like create a spreadsheet for client names, and then he'd ask me to show him how to do the same thing. I'd do it, he'd be thrilled and give me a bonus on the spot. Sweet, right? Right. Until Boss started coming in and losing his crap about random things, like the green ink on his printed Excel spreadsheet was the wrong hue, or the office manager had called in and why the hell did she need the day off, or any number of other random things, none of which were my fault and many of which I had absolutely nothing to do with. Boss was ripping my butt a new one whenever he was in the office, which became more frequently. I learned from the office manager that Boss had been cleared to return to work more hours by a psychiatrist. Wait, what? It turns out the boss was never around when I started because he had a mental breakdown and had been advised to step back from work. So the distractedness? Meds. The teeth grinding? Uncontrollable stress reaction. He even did it in his sleep. It was so bad his dentist had concerns about his jawbone having microfractured. Oh, great. So the guy gets back into the swing of things and takes everything out on me. I'm 22. My wife's in grad school. I need this job, but I'm feeling the stress. I'm always thinking about work, stewing over the last thing I got unfairly yelled about. I'm waking up 3 or 4 times a night for no reason I can think of. My wife says I toss and turn when I do sleep. This goes on for a week or two. Then the boss walks in with a new handheld digital voice recorder, hands it to me and says, when I record a voice note, I want it to be saved in there as boss underbar date underbar note underbar number sign, and I need you to show me how to use it. Okay, this is actually in my wheelhouse. So I take the recorder, grab the manual, and start tinkering. I come up with a quick how-to curriculum and then read a note in the manual. Voice recordings are saved in the device as VR underbar time date stamp.vrn. Once you import them to your PC, you may rename them as required. So boss's initial request is not possible with the hardware, but there's a simple workaround. I document that as part of my curriculum, and I go sit with the boss to go over it. Naturally, he blows up that he can't rename the files on the device. He can't believe I can't figure this one out. Did I even look at the manual? He knows it can do what he wants. I just have to do my job and learn how to make the changes. And then, OP, go home right now. And don't you come back until you figured out how to do what I want. Cue my relieved but gleeful malicious compliance. I go home. And since I know that what the boss is asking is impossible, I never even consider returning. I don't call in the next day I'm scheduled. I don't go in. I try to forget the whole ordeal. I do begin to sleep like a baby. 2 weeks pass. I've moved on, looking for another job, doing school, normal stuff. I get a call from boss out of the blue. OP, you haven't been in a while. Is everything okay? When are you coming back to work? I've got some tech issues I need your help with. I'm floored. This guy's talking to me like the last time we spoke he wasn't screaming at the top of his lungs, spewing spittle everywhere. So I say, dude, you told me not to come back until I figured out that voice recorder thing. So I didn't come back, because that thing is never going to do what you want. Boss, oh, that? I took it back to the store. So I'll see you tomorrow morning? Me, nope. I figured I was fired, so I've gotten another job. Please mail me my last check, but don't call me anymore. Thanks, bye. And I disconnected the call laughing. It never felt so satisfying to be unemployed. And our last story. Fire me for obeying the area manager? Right. AM is area manager, SM is store manager, me is me, obviously. Worked for a fast food chicken chain in Australia. There's 2 major ones, so that should be ambiguous enough as a store manager. Worked there for over 3 years without issues, but then the franchise owner decided that he was going to retire. Fair enough, some of the higher-ups started to negotiate to take over 1 or 2 of the stores for their own business, also fair enough. Now the problems start. There's too many managers left and not enough stores to work in. As salaried employees, we get paid regardless of how much we work. So obviously, this was causing the retiring owner some concern. Cue the AM. I want you to consider using such and such. The package date says that it's expired, but in my estimation, it should be fine for 2 more days. He says this in front of the staff and my SM. I query him on it, knowing full well that this is not only illegal, but against the licensing laws of operation for a fast food place. Get shut down quickly and told to use it anyway. Fine, use it and throw it out at the end of the night, knowing that we could get in crap if anything comes of it. Next day, SM hands me a write-up for using expired stock. I point out that he was there, and as my superior, it was his responsibility to take up the issue with the AM. Since he didn't, and I did, I'm not accepting the written warning and won't be signing it. I assume he was covering his own butt or was told by higher-ups to do this. Next thing I know, I'm getting a second warning from head office about this and insubordination. Right. I'm pretty sure at this point, they're just looking for any excuse to dismiss anyone to reduce staff and sell off. We had a PDA with daily checklists on it. This requires 4 daily checks of stock use-by dates to be run through by specific times to ensure product quality. Every damn day. I started taking these super seriously, forwarding any out-of-date stock to superiors, both SM and AM, plus the HR officer and the owner CC'd, including who had not completed them correctly previously, and included pictures of the stock. Was then made to attend a meeting with the company lawyer stating that my conduct was unprofessional and I was suspended with pay while an investigation took place. All of this was super illegal, but the suspension with pay will be important. 2 days later, I get a call saying that I have had my employment terminated immediately and will not be receiving any holiday or sick pay that I'm owed. Cue the drama. Since all of this was super illegal, as was the firing, in Australia you're required to have 3 written warnings for the same offense before immediate termination or do something serious like steal cash. They could have given me the flick, but they'd have to give me notice and pay out my leave. I filed for illegal termination. This is a complicated process, which fortunately I had well documented, but disputes have to be filed within 28 days. Due to the complexity of the forms and having to drag information out of the company about specific incidents, closed servers means that all emails cannot be sent outside of the company, the forms were filed 26 days after by express post, so it would arrive 1 day inside of the time frame. Dot points to speed this up. They dispute the case being brought in at all since I was terminated on such and such date, therefore I'm outside of the 28 days. They use the date of suspension with pay as the termination date. This was disputed for 4 weeks in back-and-forth emails, with appeals at every stage to slow me down before they caved. They offer me the pay I was owed at this stage to shut me up and get me gone. I refused, knowing that they had no case for dismissal now, and they pissed me off, and I went full out. I wanted pay for TIL and the job reinstated. This takes another 6 weeks. Got the job back with pay for the time I'd spent fighting with them, had heaps of holidays owed, so I immediately took the holiday pay and got another job before the pay ran out. Bonus: the whole crap show got shut down about 2 months after I left. Turns out someone had informed the Food Safety Board, and crap hit the fan. Who knew? Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.